I just want you to do one thing. Go in front of the mirror and give yourself a side profile check, like the prisoners give the side profile check. And if you have elongated chest fat, those love handles on the side of your stomach, those big stomach with skinny arms, then congratulations, you have the lowest testosterone sign known to science, known to man. 100 years from now, the average testosterone in men was 700 to 800, and now it's just reduced to 400 to 500. If you are hooked till now in this video, I bet that you want some that one change in your physique, that is building more muscle mass and reducing fat, which will you also increase testosterone. So like this video, as it will help in engagement and it can also save further generations. So what actually testosterone is? Testosterone is a hormone that is produced inside males. It is responsible for your bodily function, it is responsible for your libido, increased muscle mass, facial hair and body hair. So what are the ways that your testosterone is destroyed, and what are the ways that you can significantly reduce this destruction of testosterone in your body? Let's find out. So before going further in the video, I just want you to educate about testosterone. So what testosterone is, what are the functions of testosterone in your male body and how it is produced in your body, so that you will understand better as we go further in the video. One more note, write down the points that are important, or you can also watch the video in 1.5x to save time or as you're comfortable with. So let me just tell you what testosterone actually is. Testosterone is a hormone, as I said. It is produced majority in males. It is also produced in females, which help in the muscle mass balance. But 80 to 90% it's produced inside males. It is responsible for building muscle. It is responsible for healthy functions of your body. It is responsible for your libido. It is responsible for your hair. The hair growth is responsible for your body hair growth, your facial hair growth, and etc. It deepens your voice, and it also helps you give that extra stamina, like when you run or when you do intense physical activities. That is why generally in that case men can handle more amounts of intensity workouts than women. Now let me just tell you that how testosterone is produced in your body. So there is a gland in our brain that is called the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland gets signals by GnRH. What is GnRH? GnRH is gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Gonadotrophin releases gonads basically, like it is responsible for the initiation or acceleration for the production of gonads, which are your sperm and ovules. So this GnRH gives a signal to a pituitary gland to produce hormones. Now pituitary gland produces two hormones, that is the luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. What are these hormones now? So luteinizing hormone, which is also called LH, this is responsible to luteinize your sperm production. That is, it helps in the growth and the overall sperm health. And follicular stimulating hormone, the name itself says that it stimulates the production of follicles, it stimulates the production of hormones in your body. So these are mainly two hormones. So what happens is these two hormones act directly on your testes, that is the male primary sex organ, and these organs produce more amount of sperm in your body. So now you are getting the analysis of how the sperm and all of these things are produced in the body. I will also be attaching pictures in between so that you will be understanding better through photos. So what are the things that are destroying your testosterone? Okay, there are certain things that are destroying your testosterone internally, and these things did not exist 100 years ago, so don't compare yourself with them. Okay, their generation was totally different than now. We have much more advanced technology than that time, plus we also are more sedentary than our ancestors. So what are the things that are destroying your testosterone? I will be discussing them in detail, and these are the majority of things that are destroying your testosterone. Much more of the things are there that are indirectly also destroying your testosterone, but these are the main things that are destroying your testosterone. So let's get started. First thing you need to do is to ban all sorts of plastic. Is plastic that much harmful? There was a study done on fish. Okay, so there was one container with saline water in which the fish were kept, and in other container there was water that was contaminated with plastic. Not plastic but BPA. What BPA is, I will tell you after this story. So what happened was they were kept for mating in one jar and in other jar. The fish in saline water, when the sperm count was analyzed in the fish, it was normal. But when it was analyzed in BPA environment, it was reduced to 50%. So the sperm health was 50% down in BPA contained water to that of saline water. So what did you understand through this? You understand that BPA is silent killer for you and your health. BPA is silently killing your testosterone. How does BPA work? Now you may ask. So let me just tell you how BPA works. BPA, also known as bisphenol A, it acts as an hormone disruptor and endocrine killer. So BPA is normally found in food containers, the plastic water bottles that you drink, and also inside the chips packet, the lining of BPA. It is also found in so-called reusable paper cups, as paper is there from outside, but to handle that intense heat, it is coated by very thin plastic, which is the bad, which is the like the S tier bad level of plastic that you are drinking through tea and hot coffee that you are entering inside your body. BPA acts as an endocrine disruptor as it mimics estrogen in your body. Yes, the same estrogen that is present in females. So what happens is when you drink or when you consume this BPA indirectly, of course we are not eating plastic directly. So when you consume BPA indirectly, it goes inside your blood. Now what happens is this BPA contains certain enzymes, certain hormones which mimic estrogen. And when your male body has more estrogen than testosterone, it will of course hamper your endocrine system. Endocrine means the hormones that are produced inside our body through different organs. So of course the brain will start to get confused that why is there estrogen in our body, as BPA mimics estrogen, and due to this your body will eventually stop producing testosterone. Now I'm not saying that this happens due to one use, but when you're regularly consuming plastic for years and years, this start to accumulate in your bloodstream, indirectly reducing your testosterone levels. Now this leads to lower testosterone, poor sperm quality and less libido. Why am I saying you this? Because the infertility cases are rising day by day. From the last 10 years, infertility cases have skyrocketed. No doctor or no person will tell you the actual reason why your testosterone is down. The main reason is plastic. Before 100 years, no one of our ancestors were drinking water or hot tea coffee from plastic cups, so-called reusable paper cups, plastic bottles, plastic water bottles. They were strictly using utensils made out of elements. For example, silver, they were using iron, they were using brass. So they were using these kinds of utensils to cook their food, to serve and to eat their food. That is why there were no plastic circulating in the body. But from the last 10 to 20 years, when a child is served hot porridge, it is sometimes given in those melamine plastic bowls and plastic spoon. So imagine that you are feeding your child plastic from day one. Then after 20 years, you will expect him to be very less fertile and not a Superman kind of thing. So this awareness should be spread more and more that you should be reducing plastic from your diet as much as possible. You're not directly ingesting plastic, but you are ingesting indirectly through plastic bottles, to plastic water bottles, boxes, or those containers that you're ordering from online food apps in which your garam garam curries are served. So that white plastic, you know what I'm talking about, that white plastic leaches in your hot food and you get all those low testosterone and all of these things. And also, no matter why, your health is also not good, your immunity is pure, and etc. Now the second and most worst thing that you are doing is cutting on plastic chopping boards. So chopping board existed back then, but what actually changed? The material, of course. The plastic board that you are cutting right now is secretly leaching in your food. How does it happen? So when you cut through plastic, the blades of your knife secretly scratch the surface, we all know it. So when you just scrape your food inside vessel or in container, the plastic is absorbed through food, because everything that is present in nature has a property to absorb the surroundings. Our body, our skin also absorb things, so why will not plants? So plants absorb those plastic, and since plastic is non-biodegradable, it's non-reactive, it stayed inside your food. And when you cook food, even on high temperatures, sometimes the plastic is not, like, evaporated in the air, means there is no change in the plastic and you eat it. So when you're doing this for 20 to 20 years, 30 years, maybe 40 years, why am I getting frequently ill? Why am I not curing? Why am I not getting cure after taking after taking medications for too long? It's because according to Ayurveda, our sperm quality, or our, gamete seed quality, is solely depend on our food. When we take good food, it gets converted into blood, then muscles, then bone marrow, then bone, etc, etc, and in the last stage it gets converted into gametes. So if our food is on top notch, if our food is having the highest nutrients, our gamete quality will also be the highest. But if our food is not good, our gamete quality will also be not good. Now what is the relation of gametes with immunity? According to Ayurveda, our gamete is responsible for our immunity. If we have good gamete health, we will also have good immunity. So that is why if you are taking plastic, then it will of course affect your hormones, the level they function. It also affects your mood. It will also affect your fertility state, and it will mainly also affect your immunity. So if you're taking good diet, your immunity will be good, and so will be your gamete health. So that is why I always prefer you to use steel chopping boards or wooden chopping boards that I'm showing on the screen. I personally use this as an alternative for plastic chopping boards. The reason is because even if some wood gets inside your body, it's actually nature, it's actually natural, so that will not cause very that much harm as compared to plastic. Okay, if you are, of course, if you ate too much of wood, it will also cause stomach disorders. But what I'm trying to say is that is much less that it causes much less damage compared to plastic chopping boards. The next thing is cooking in seed oils. What are the seed oils? So when you go to the grocery store, I just want you to look at the cooking oils that you use regularly. If at the back of the label it says refined oil, or it says processed, ultra processed, or it says that it is any kind of seed oils, for example sunflower seed oil, rice bran oil, cotton seed oil, palm olive oil, or even your vegetable oil, all of these oils are very badly processed on high heats, and because of this, the nutrient content of these oils can damage your testosterone health. How? Because when oil is processed at very high heat and most of its nutrients are reduced, it goes directly in your body. Your body cannot absorb these bad kinds of oils, and these are stored in our body as fat reserve, of course, because oil does not have any protein content, but it's a good source of fat. But if you are eating bad oil, you will get bad amounts of fat, and it will store in your adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is nothing but your fat, and eventually some of the harmful particles, it will be absorbed in your bloodstream, ultimately resulting in your testosterone. Multiple studies have been done to prove the how seed oil damages your testosterone health. So now you must be saying that I'm crazy, I'm telling you to cook in no oil. No, I'm not saying like this. You can use filtered oils, filtered cold pressed oil that our ancestors have been eating since their day one. So what are some oils that I will be suggesting to use? Groundnut. So groundnut oil, filtered groundnut oil, not refined groundnut oil, filtered groundnut oil, filtered sesame oil, filtered coconut oil, and all of the raw oils. If you can also afford olive oil, that's the best. Means what I'm saying is you have to get oil that are single ingredient. For example, the groundnut oil, the sesame oil, the olive oil. These oils are cold pressed. They are not treated under intense heat. So these oil contains HDL, that stands for high density lipoprotein. This high density lipoprotein is actually good cholesterol which help reduce inflammation and the risk of artery blockage. So when you eat bad cholesterol through all these refined or vegetable oils, it clogs your arteries and then you will get symptoms like cardiac arrest, obesity and hypertension, etc. So switch to these oils that I mentioned earlier and watch that how your body gets good amounts of fat and not bad amounts of fat. The third reason is sleeping in polyester underwears. Now, how is polyester affecting your testosterone? See, our nature has designed our body in certain ways to survive the environment. So your testicles are located outside of your body because the maturation of sperm requires 2 to 4 degrees lower than your body temperature. Your body's internal temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. For proper functioning of your testosterone, the testes need to be located 2 to 4 degrees outside of your body temperature, that is around 35 to 34 degrees Celsius. And because of this, the testicles are located outside of a body. You will observe in most of the animals the testicles are located outside the body. That is not the issue. The issue is sleeping in the polyester clothes. What happens is polyester clothes are designed to trap heat. So what happens is when you sleep in polyester clothes, it traps heat and your body is not capable of keeping the external temperature of your testis, that is 2 to 4 degrees lower. So when you sleep in polyester clothes or polyester underwears, what happens is that the temperature around your testicles is increased due to heat trap. And in India we live in a country where there is much more heat compared to cold season. We are not living in America or Russia, but in India there you can observe more heat in the daytimes or also sometimes night times. So that is why what happens is it traps heat and it significantly, even also of 2 degrees, it increases your external temperature around that area, and that is what affecting your testosterone. Of course your body is designed to keep them cool, and when you are wearing those clothes it makes your body hard to produce testosterone in a heated environment, and this is what over and over of years cause you to face the impotency and all. You must be thinking that they are comfortable, but no, it's actually silently killing your test growth. So what are the ways in which you can bring them to normal levels? Note, these changes will not occur in day one. You have to follow it for 6 months to get results. So what are the things that you can increase your testosterone by this? So start sleeping in open ventilated cotton clothes, when they sleep they have the gap to enter air, but when you are using polyester, they are compressed on your skin. You have no airway to flow, but in cotton you have airway to flow, and that is what will help that area to get much air as possible to keep them cool. The fourth thing I want to talk about is not getting enough sleep. Now, how does this affect your testosterone levels? So what happens is when you don't sleep enough or when you are sleeping irregular cycles, it will affect your REM. Now what REM is? REM is rapid eye movement. So what is REM? REM is basically rapid eye movement. This is a stage when your body is in deep sleep. For example, if something drops or if some cracking or noise comes, that is very minute that your ears are not able to sense it and you are in a deep sleep. So when you are not in a deep sleep, it affects your testosterone. A study at JAMA showed that not getting enough sleep or not getting sleep in a REM cycles decreased testosterone by 10 to 15%. And that is the reason why we are facing insomnia issues mostly in the teenagers, because we are just scrolling reels till 2 to 3 a.m. and we are not sleeping in our circadian rhythms. What circadian rhythm is? Circadian rhythm is your biological clock in me. That means that your body is designed to wake up in a certain time, work in a certain time, eat in a certain time, and sleep at at a certain time. So when you are not doing this, you are disturbing your body's circadian rhythm, and due to this, your body's testosterone levels are getting affected. So it is advised to sleep at least 8 to 9 hours in a good a breathable fabric in a good cold temperature, so that your testes will function the way they should be and not disrupting your hormones anymore. The next thing I want to talk, and that is very crucial, is obesity. Now, our ancestors were not fat. Even if you take some of our ancestors who were fat, their activity level was next level compared to our sedentary lifestyle. Now, why fat or why the obesity causes low testosterone? Let me just tell you according to science, and you will get idea about it. My goal is to mainly educate you and the things what to do and what not to do. So your fat contains an enzyme called aromatase. This aromatase enzyme is responsible for producing estrogen in your body. This is the reason why women have good amount of fat around their thigh and hip region than men. Because of this aromatase, the estrogen levels in their body is regulated. And that is also a reason why women who have good amounts of fat, not morbidly obese amount of fat, but good amount of fat around their hip and the thigh region, they are considered good for having a conception, because the fat will provide the nutrition for organs as well as for the baby. Converts your testosterone to estrogen as aromatase mimics estrogen in your body, and because of this your brain cannot understand what's happening, and due to this it significantly stops the production of testosterone. And as you're eating more fat, as you're eating more junk food, as you're not controlling your calories, this fat will deposit around your stomach region, your love handle region, your glutes and thighs region, and then you will be saying that why am I fat, I'm doing everything right, why is this happening to me, and you will not feel manly as you would be feeling as a man in your 20 to 30s age. Now what happens is, when you get excess fat, this fat goes directly affects on your organs. This is also called visceral fat, and because of this your organ is covered with very much amount of fat. It produces inflammatory cytokine, and this inflammatory cytokine increases cortisol. What cortisol is? Cortisol is nothing but the stress hormone responsible in your body, and because of this you will see that most of the obese people are suffering with stress problems, mental stress problems, also with BP, hypertension, high blood sugar, etc. Because of all these things, the stress hormone in our body is increased, and fat people are usually not having good mental health. So this cycle continues. You eat more calories, you eat more junk food, the fat goes deposited on your visceral as well as your abdominal fat, and then that reduces testosterone. Low testosterone will cause low muscle mass, and low muscle mass will cause fat gain, and this cycle continues. So now I will be taking a break. I will be recording what are actually the ways in which you can increase your testosterone. This part was basically to educate you that what are the common things that you are neglecting are decreasing your testosterone. But in the next part that I will be merging in this video only, I will be recording it in the next day. So in that part, I will be saying what actually are the things that increase your testosterone. In this part, I told you what testosterone is, why you have low testosterone, and what are some of the common ways that you can fix your testosterone. We will meet in the next part. Bye bye. So now let's talk about some of the ways through which you can increase your testosterone levels. The first thing you can do is getting enough vitamin D. Why getting enough vitamin D is important for you? The first thing that you have to do in morning is go in the sun and just rest there for like 15 to 20 minutes. And because of this, what happens, the sun contains moderate levels of UVB rays. These UVB rays strike onto your skin and your body then further synthesize it to get vitamin D. The sun does not actually provide you vitamin D, it just provides you UV rays, so the body will further metabolize it into vitamin D. So what you have to do is go in front of the sun for 15 to 20 minutes early in the morning. Multiple studies have shown that resting in sun for 15 to 20 minutes actually decreases cortisol levels. What are cortisol levels? I told you in the earlier part. Cortisol is nothing but your stress hormone that is acting on your body. So reduced stress will give production to more testosterone, as the cortisol hormone will decrease from your body and it will eventually lead you to give more testosterone in your body. The second thing is reducing stress. Now, how reducing stress helps? Our ancestors were happy. Our ancestors were going to temples. Our ancestors went to religious places because the environment there, the say every temple or every religious place has an environment, a positive vibe environment. So when our ancestors used to spend their lives, most of the time in temples, the positive energy was striking in their heads so that they were able to grasp all the positive energy, all the positive vibes from their orbit. And because of this, the stress levels were very low. So when you feel stress, it increases cortisol production, and then what you do is you crave for some things. You sometimes overeat due to bad moods, or you indulge in all those intoxications and all. So it's better not to take much stress when you are when you want to increase your testosterone. What you can do is you can just find helps, you can just read self-help books, you can just go to temple or any religious place you like, you can do things that you like, which will reduce your cortisol levels. It may not increase your testosterone level, but at least you will have a better mood, which will also affect your circadian rhythm in a good way. So it's your job to not take much stress, as it increases your cortisol levels. Do some adrenaline rush activities. You can do fighting, you can not fighting street fighting, but you can just go in boxing clubs and you can just box, or you can just go on a track, or you can do activities that are actually dangerous. I'm just talking about calculated risk. For example, skydivings, you can do paraglidings, you can do trekkings, you can do bungee jumpings. All these give an adrenaline rush in your body. And our ancestors had good testosterone because they had very good adrenaline rush. They used to hunt, they used to go wild, and because of this, their body produced more adrenaline, more testosterone, so that their levels were healthy and they were also healthy. But in this today's sedentary lifestyle, we are not taking as much risk. We are just staying, we are just on our bed scrolling reels 24 hours, and because of this, our body does not have any access to survive danger. So our body does not produce much testosterone because our body thinks that we are constantly in the resting position. And because of this, there is a concept in Ayurveda that when you sleep much, your fat percentage increases. And we know that when our fat percentage is increased, we are suffered with less testosterone. So the things that I told earlier in the video part, what you have to do is just take enough sleep, don't stress, and you can take your vitamins or from the tablets or from the sun anytime you want. The third thing you can do is start taking supplements. Now, supplements are not steroid. Steroid is like a cheat code, but supplement works slowly in your body. Let me just clarify what supplement and steroid is. Many of our Indian parents, or there is a mentality in our Indian parent that protein powder is a steroid. So let me just decode what steroid and protein is. Steroid works very fast when you take 4 shots of tren, or when you take when you take frequently anabolics for 2 to 3 months. Your body is like a beast, you look like a person or a bodybuilder from another planet. But supplementation, as the word supplementation says, it just provides you much better to your body, it just supplements you in your growth. So whey protein or creatine is not a steroid, it's a supplement. So these supplements you need, of course, for building testosterone, of course, when you go to gym, or even when you don't go to gym. What are the main supplement that you should be taking as a supplement? And before taking these supplements, you should be consulting your doctor. I consulted my doctor, so I took these supplements. The first supplement I took was zinc. So the studies show that having zinc in your diet or taking zinc supplements in your diet increase your testosterone percentage up to 20%. So if you're considering to like get good testosterone, you can just consider zinc, but only if you are not having a good diet. If you're having a balanced diet and you have already have zinc in your diet, spinach is like the best source for zinc that you can possibly have. Or you can also have magnesium supplements. Magnesium helps in increasing bone muscle mass and having good sleep. So if you are having magnesium, you will get good sleep. And as I told you earlier in the video part, that sleeping good will help in better testosterone production. So like having magnesium in your diet can also increase your testosterone in some more ways. Again, increasing testosterone is not exceeding the normal limit. It's just bringing your down level of testosterone to normal level of testosterone. That is what increasing testosterone is. So these supplements that you can take, you can also take other supplements that are recommended by your doctor, but magnesium supplement and zinc supplements is best for maintaining a good level of testosterone. And you must be arguing that our ancestors didn't took any supplements. I have answer for it, because our ancestors had everything in pure form. There were no adulteration, there were no protein spiking, there was nothing that can be questioned. But in today's world, everything that you eat is questioned. So just make your food choices right and you will be good to go. The fourth crucial thing and the last thing is dipping your balls into ice water. Now this is called the thermal shock effect. What is the thermal shock? What is this thermal shock effect? I will be putting a photo on the screen. But this study tells us that frequently giving cold temperature shock to your testicles gives production of testosterone and increase. How does this happen? We knew earlier that our testosterone production occurs when our body's the temperature is 2 to 4 degrees less than the body. So this environment is also cold. So when you give cold exposure to your testicles, of course the testosterone production will increase. And multiple studies have also proven that this is effective. It will not take place in 1 or 2 days. You have to follow it for 1-2 months or maybe 3 months depending upon the person. But the thing is, you will surely get result. You can also take cold showers, avoid hot showers. In our Ayurveda also, they told that taking hot shower is not good for your hair health, for your eye health, as these things require cold. But these things require cold nature, but as you put hot water on your face, these are the area around here gets swelled and you can get eye disorders on your pimple disorders and all. Plus it can also increase the body heat. So it's better advice to take cold showers. There are many more ways, adding more protein to your diet, fixing your diet, avoiding junk food, avoiding sugary foods, avoiding bakeries and pastries and all, avoiding most of the plastic. Okay, you should not be having these bottles. You should be never having plastic bottles. Always use steel, glass, copper bottles, because not only you will be getting rid of that bad BPA, but you will also be taking copper, which is beneficial for your body. And also there are many things that we talked about. Sleep in cotton clothes, just have breathable material and get your sleep fixed, get your circadian rhythm fixed, do strength training, reduce fat, gain muscle. And when you do all these things, when you are basically self-improved, you automatically get an idea of how you can improve further. So this was the video. I guess this part was short, but I only told you things that was necessary. So do like this video and share with all of your friends. I don't usually say these things, but it's really important for engagement, or else YouTube doesn't push my videos. So thank you so much for watching. We will meet you in the next informative video. Bye, take care and improve.